Whether you're watching your favorite NBA team at the arena, the bar, or hanging at home, grab an ice-cold Michelob Ultra and enjoy every moment of the NBA season. Stock up today and watch your team drop buckets with a bucket full of ice-cold Ultra. Michelob Ultra. Superior light beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2026 Anheuser-Busch. Michelob Ultra. Registered light beer. St. Louis, Missouri. Must be 21 plus to order alcohol. Alcohol available only in select markets.
Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Achtung, Millwall. Broadcasting from beautiful South Bermondsey, it's the #1 Millwall podcast. Accept no substitute.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to a summertime edition of Achtung Millwall. Obviously, in the aftermath of Millwall's near-miss promotion season and flop of a playoff campaign, in truth. I thought it might be a nice idea to be joined by a Millwall history big dog himself, Neil Fissler, to chew over previous near misses of Millwall campaigns. There's a few here, so I've brought him back from the cryogenic storage. It's the man himself. It's Neil Fissler. Welcome to the show, Neil.
That was some build-up, mate. I must admit, that was but that was better than you get on that Millwall podcast, I tell you.
Well, in all the excitement of the season that we've just, I haven't done many history shows. It was just like there was just too much going on and all the rest of it. So we haven't done one of these for a little while. So it's nice to take the summertime to resurrect the history stuff. So I think it's important that we do touch on our history. And this season we've just had now, I don't know if you'd agree with me, but this was the closest we've come to the big time, I would say, ever, apart from 1987-88, which I'm going to put into a separate box slightly because we made it in different times. But this was as close as you can possibly get, 1 point and a goal difference, I suppose.
Yeah. In years to come, people will be doing a history podcast on this season.
Not you and me.
When they reflect on all of Millwall's near misses, this will be the season.
Front and centre.
Well, we've only got ourselves to blame. Let's be honest. Home form was woeful at times.
Yes.
We
Goal
dropped
scoring.
far too many.
Yeah,
we dropped far too many points against teams that we shouldn't have, and our goal scoring lacked a bit. Funnily enough, I think it could be a recurring theme throughout some of these, although this is a transfer window we're talking about. Certainly the last time we came close, it was because we didn't push the boat out and we signed Dion Dublin too late.
Yeah.
But we'll come into that. But I think that this year, in January, when we needed to make a little bit of a statement and we needed to add a bit of strength in depth to the team, we just missed that opportunity, didn't we? So we've only got ourselves to blame. We get up, I see people whining about Southampton and we should have had a playoff game against Middlesbrough to play for Wembley. Stop crying, just get on with it. We're in a better place than we were.
More remote than the dark side of the moon, where the Americans have just been round. That was never going to happen, kids. But there we are. I mean, people have to have something to talk about, Neil, don't they? As we're seeing at the moment with Arsenal and their European Cup near miss. They've got to have something to talk about, and so it is. So it is generally. But yeah, the closest near miss of all time, I suppose, from the Millwall perspective, 25, 26. But we will look through a few seasons. We've got 7 seasons lined up here for you listeners of near misses since the Lions entered the Football League in 1921. I suppose, actually, before we get into it, we could also include, and I didn't include it on this list, was when we opted not to take up the offer of joining the Football League prior to the First World War. That was a near miss in a sense, because Arsenal did take the option, and look at them now. Whatever happened to them, Neil,
Yeah, but back then, I think the Southern League was probably as strong as the Football League, if not stronger.
Yeah, and it was ours, wasn't it? We were central figures in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're a massive club.
Yeah,
in the Southern League, but you have to make decisions, don't you? And I guess the directors at the time thought that the best decision was for us to stay in the Southern League and not join the Football League, with its inordinate amounts of travelling involved.
Yeah, very northern-based competition, but I'm going to put that into the near-miss category, but I haven't included it on my list of seasons here, listeners. But Neil, before we get into my 7 near-miss seasons of Millwall, some very sad news from the world of football, which is on the BBC website as you and me are speaking to each other. And that's the very sad news, in my opinion, that Kevin Keegan has announced he's got stage 4 cancer. He's got a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. And just to use the BBC's definition of what that means, for anyone who doesn't know, stage 4 is the most advanced stage of cancer, meaning the disease has spread to other parts of the body. So we're talking effectively, as we were saying off air, Neil, about palliative, managing pain, but it's now the inevitable, unfortunately. Very sad news. He's a massive figure in English football, superstar in his younger days. Certainly when I was growing up following football, he was a big name in the game, and always a very nice bloke as well, Kevin Keegan. Did you ever meet him in your career, Neil, as journalism?
I don't think I have, but like you, when I was growing up, he was a huge name, absolutely huge name. And we talk about near misses. Yeah, we scouted him in 1970, and ultimately lost out to Liverpool. I think Shankly took the plunge, didn't he? But a great figure, a great footballing man. I hate that expression. He's a great footballing man, but he is. He's somebody who played at the top level, managed at the top level, and was successful at both. Moved out to Germany, went to play for Hamburg when he was at the top of his game.
One of the first to do that, Neil, wasn't he? He's one of the first to make that move. Quite drastic in its time.
Yeah, and he was a huge name at the time. I can remember him on Superstars coming off the bike, and
I was just going to mention that
and taking all the skin off his back. I can remember absolutely running behind the sofa as a kid when that happened. And to be on Superstars, you had to be a superstar, didn't you?
In your own field. It was a BBC series, and I used to love it. I used to love watching it.
I did.
The Americans had started it, and we used the format over here. But I loved Superstars, Neil. It was presented by David Vine, and you had, as you say, various superstars. Kevin Keegan was one. I remember James Hunt being in it. He wasn't terribly good at other sports, but you were a superstar in your own field, and then you basically had like a decathlon. It was like 10 different events, wasn't it? And then
it was, and it. Yeah, but it tested out. Yeah, it was everything from cycling. It was a health and safety nightmare as far as a modern footballer is concerned. And mate, it was. Yeah, but I can remember. Brian Jacks winning it.
Brian Jacks,
and he was almost unbeatable, wasn't he? Because of his fitness levels.
Made of iron as well. The endurance of a top level judo fighter, and he prevailed. I mean, you just mentioned modern. You wouldn't get away with it now, would you? You couldn't put I don't know who.
Harry Could Kane you imagine Jude Bellingham? Jude Bellingham doing Superstars or something and coming off a bike.
Just to explain to any younger listeners, Kevin Keegan took part in this TV series with other sports people. Daley Thompson, I remember being in it. Others
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And one of the events was a bicycle race, but it wasn't on like a track like you might get at the Olympic Velodrome now, Neil. It wasn't even Crystal Palace Athletics ground. It was in some tracks at Loughborough University or somewhere, and they were riding the bikes around an athletics, foam track or whatever they make it out. Yeah. And of course, Keegan, everyone's competitive. They're all competitive. They're all masters in their different fields. And Keegan's gone around a bend trying to win, and he's come off his bike and scraped because there was no pads.
Oh, that was horrible, wasn't it?
Even the kids at the South Bank doing their skating have pads on their arms and on their knees, but not Kevin Keegan. And he went scraping across the track. And one of those great moments. And I think anyone of the 70s ilk era will never forget that programme. Played in Hamburg, played for England, captained England, managed England, of course, without too much success as a manager. But as a player...
Played for Southampton, Newcastle, managed Fulham.
He produced as a manager the Newcastle team of the 90s, which was just entertainment from... I think he had a quit once. He just kept signing strikers, Neil, didn't he? He was signing David Ginola. I mean, what players? Shearer was up front in his pomp. And if Newcastle were on television, if you're any kind of football fan, you wanted to see what they could do. And there were some classic games of the 90s, Premier League games at that time, all under his management. His international management finale was a sad one. It was the last game at the old Wembley Stadium, wasn't it? A 1-0 loss to Germany in a damp afternoon of misery.
Yeah, Saturday afternoon, if I remember rightly.
That's
and
right.
It was a
1-0 loss to the Germans. So there we are, and obviously a huge figure in the game, and it's terribly sad news. Not much you can say. He's not passed away yet, but this is the kind of zone we're into now. But I just wanted to pay a little bit of a tribute to Kevin Keegan, Neil, before we start, because some things are bigger than others in football, and that should be one of the stories that is so. There we are, Kevin Keegan. Now then. Listeners, the point of this show is near misses, and we've had a few near misses, Neil. And I've excluded the listeners. I've excluded near misses when we're trying to clamber out the third tier. We spent most of our history, obviously, hovering between the third and the second divisions tiers, whatever you want to call them. So I've chosen seasons where we very nearly won promotion to the top flights, and obviously we did do that in 1987-88. But as I said at the start, I'm going to put that into a shoebox and put it to one side, because these are all near misses where we nearly got promoted, like we did this season. And my first choice, Neil, if near misses, I'm going to take you all the way back to 1932-33. I'm going to take you back to the management of Bob Hunter, a legendary figure that you and I have spoken about many times, actually, one way and the other. And we make no apologies for that, listeners. I'm going to take you back to a game played at Millwall 2, Manchester United 0 at the Den, in front of 23,000 nearly, in March, leaving us fourth in the second division under the management of Bob Hunter, looking upwards, Neil. And then sadly, as would happen, tragedy would strike us, in many, many different formats. Bob Hunter passed away in March of 1933, leading obviously to a massive blow to the club, but then a complete loss of form that season. And we would fade in the final 11, just winning once, finishing 7th, 12 points away from Tottenham, who went up in second position over us. It was a massive loss, wasn't it? Bob Hunter is such a huge figure in our club's history. One of the things I really enjoy about our shows, Neil, is that we get a chance to mention his name, because I don't think you can really mention it enough how big a figure he was in the history of Millwall Football Club.
Yeah, no, hugely forgotten. I think he's just one of those people that just isn't mentioned anymore and doesn't get the reverence that he actually deserves. Actually, incidentally, I was just having a look and the only game we won, some things never change. We beat Charlton Athletic. But the team that's forever in our shadow. Yeah,
Yes,
but if
even
anybody
then.
works with a Charlton fan, tell them that they've always been in Millwall's shadow. It winds them up something chronic. But but it looked good. I think we were pushing, weren't we? I think Stoke and Tottenham went up that season,
We were
and
jostling
we
for
were.
position, weren't we? Yeah. And as I say, there was a 2-0 win over United in March. Bob Hunter would actually pass away after a 4-1 win at Charlton on the 25th of March. I've got a report here. It's an obituary, actually. It's in the paper called the News Chronicle back then. This is dated Thursday, March the 30th. After a long illness, Mr. Robert Hunter, who joined the Millwall FC as a trainer in 1897 to 88. So we're talking about just 12 years after the club was formed, that Morton's canning, production factory on the Isle of Dogs, became manager shortly afterward. Died at his home in New Cross yesterday morning at the age of 73. That sentence struck me. Neil died at his home in New Cross. How many managers now live just around the corner from the grounds? I wouldn't have thought many.
Probably none. Actually,
No.
Something that's just struck me about that season: the team that finished third bottom, the Vermin.
Yes, that's right. Nothing changes. Nothing changes.
Yeah,
No,
no.
that's right.
But you have a look at that season. From that game after Charlton, we played what? We played Bradford, Burnley, Port Vale
Yeah.
twice, Preston,
Yeah.
Plymouth Forest, Oldham.
Yeah.
You'd have fancied us to have beaten a few of them. Yeah, well, I know that football back then wasn't a predictable science.
No.
Yeah, you didn't often get the results you deserved. Top would beat bottom on a
But we
regular
just went
basis and
completely off the
things like that.
boil, didn't we? Barely
Yeah,
score.
that's right.
Looking at the scores there, 3-0 loss, 2-0 loss. One was one goal there, Forsyth for 0-1, 0-0. And I think the obituary kind of captures what a blow it was to Millwall Football Club. This figure from the earliest days, is it pretty much, and a massive figure in terms of his ability to find talent, spot talent, and clearly to put a team together that was now capable of pressing for the top flight. And as I say, I'm going to put this obituary out because I think it's quite a nice. Quite a nice thing. I never knew. Also, just a little aside, we do have love our asides, Neil, on this show. He was also a successful athletics racing, as they call it here. He trained a guy called Charlie Gardner, who raced against Durando, the well-known marathon athlete, and Durando was the Italian who famously was helped over the line in was it the 1904 or 1900 or 1908, I think, London Olympics, one of the very first marathons. And there's an ancient film of him going bandy-legged, and someone actually helps him across the line. I think they disqualified him after 26 miles because he was assisted, and that was not allowed. And that's Bob trained the guy who raced him. Massive figure.
Yeah, but at the time, don't forget, Bob Hunter would have run the club from top to bottom. He would have been what they call a manager secretary.
Yeah.
So he would have been manager, secretary, chief executive, and there would really have only been the chairman above him and the board of directors, but he would have had overall autonomy on how the club was run. He'd have had the final say in virtually everything, and nothing would have gone past him. Or would have happened without his say so. They really did rule with an iron fist, if you like.
So there we are. I mean, there's a quote here. I just want to leave the season with this quote from Tom Thorne, another early figure. The Thorns, are creators of the club pretty much. He's quoted as saying, "We've lost a loyal servant and a great friend." He also told the News Chronicle that prior to his long innings, Bob had completed a manuscript of a work entitled 50 Years of Sport that was to be published in the near future. I can't find any reference to that. That would be a wonderful book to find if anyone ever digs it out of I don't know, antiques,
No,
jumble.
it never got published.
Did it not?
It never got published, but it was actually, funnily enough, I was thinking about this not so long ago. It was published in a newspaper, and I've got copies of it. And I was thinking maybe to actually get this manuscript published and maybe do something for the food hub on it.
That would be a great. You can hear. This is the beauty of our show, listeners. You can hear ideas, like an ideas workshop, being worked out in your earhole, on your car stereo, wherever you listen to this show, in your gym right now. That's a fantastic idea, and I'd love to read that. That's for sure. Bob Hunter. So there we are. Story of the 1932-33 season. We finish 7th, having toyed with promotion, and we lost one of the major figures of our club. Bob Hunter.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV. Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free.
The truth is ours.
It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
This is what everyone's talking about.
Everything's on the table.
This is what champions come to take. This is what everyone came to see.
And the slam!
No do-overs. No second chances. No more Mr. Nice Guy. This is winner take all. The NBA Finals continue on ABC and the ESPN app.
Achtung, Millwall.
Now we're going to need to move along, Neil, because I want to try and bring us in. We our tangents do tend to take us over the hour mark. My New Year's resolution is to try and bring these shows in under the hour for you listeners, your listening pleasure. So next up, we're going to fast forward through the 1930s to another season where we are making ready for promotion bid in 1939-40 season. And we're well set. We've got a new grandstand built. We've got a manager in Charles Hewitt of ambition. We've had a promising season in 1938-39. We're looking forward to 1939-40. And indeed, we wallop Newcastle United in the fine start. This is the Sydenham Gazette, I believe it's called. Keep It Up Lions is their main headline, Neil. Fine start at the Den. Millwall 3, Newcastle 0. Keep this standard up, Lions, and always providing there is a season, because they know what's coming, you'll be well up at the end of it. Your wingers are really speedy, your inside men can score, and your defence is much stronger than it was. A crowd of 30,000 turned out to see this beautiful start to the campaign. That was dated 1st of September 1939. What happened? Just 2 days later.
Neville Chamberlain aided our bid with the Munich agreement. Yeah, well, let's go there for once. Yeah, because we're not gonna mention Adolf Hitler starting World War II to deny us, because it only brings out the conspiracy theorists. But no, to be actually serious, we were one of the best supported clubs in the country.
30,000 at the Den. Imagine that.
Yeah, we were definitely in the top 10 of supported clubs in the country. We'd made a couple of signings that season that was supposed to push us over the line.
Yeah.
The future looked bright. The club had been building. The new grandstand was because of our ambitions to go up. And the board was fully aligned with the manager, which hasn't always happened in Millwall history.
No.
And to give Charlie Hewitt his credit, he was a very vindictive man. I think this was the season he banned Rose, the Daily Express reporter, and that ban lasted well into the 1940s.
War or no war.
Yeah, but it just showed that we had ambition. It pretty much the same as now, I think. I think we're building now, aren't we? You can't just go out and magically expect a squad to get promoted.
No, it takes time.
Was
yeah,
this was a squad that had built. I think we'd reached an FA Cup semi-final a couple of seasons before.
Yep.
So the club was going in the right direction. In fact, I think it was 3 seasons. A couple of seasons before, wasn't it? It was in 36-37 that we lost to Sunderland, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So everything was a slow process, and Division 3 South we got out of, and then we set our sights about getting out of Division 2.
Second division.
That included the likes of West Ham, Man City, Tottenham, all kinds of teams. Even your likes of your Blackburns and your Sheffield teams were huge back then. So it wasn't an easy feat, but we had the crowds, we had the ambition, we started to get the ground, and then we got in 1 or 2 players, and then it all goes a bit tits up, doesn't it?
Mr. Hitler invades Poland in cahoots with Mr. Stalin, of course, who also invaded Poland. That's often forgotten. But anyway, that's another subject. That's another podcast, listeners. And in fact, there's a poignant paragraph. I mean, the 2 poignant bits. One is that report where the match report here, there's just the initials here, NJR, but they say, if you have a good season, if there is one, so they're already suspecting this date is dated Friday the 1st of September. I think Sunday the 3rd would be when war would be officially declared. And there's another paragraph, it must be one from the following days. Tomorrow's football, this is a paragraph in the same paper, set out in plenty of time for tomorrow's game. You may have to walk owing to transport being earmarked for evacuation. So there we are. That's a different kind of transport issue, isn't it? Might have to walk.
Yeah, but they knew what was coming down the line, didn't they?
They certainly did, Neil. They certainly did. So that was the 1939-40 season that so much promised. Never really. Well, I think a couple of games got played, but then it was annulled, and that will be that until post 1946. I think was with the return of league.
Well, we went to regional football, didn't we? And we just didn't do very well in it.
No, and the ground would also get bomb damaged. I think the grandstand that had been built was burned down. So it was a disastrous decade, which Millwall took many years to recover from. In truth, now,
exactly. Well, we didn't. Some people would argue that we've never really recovered from it.
No,
that we ended up in the 4th division. And then I think the nearest we came was probably 70, 71, wasn't it, that we're going to move on to?
Well, we're going to move on in a moment to 71, 72, but I just want to touch on what you've just said there, because I agree. I think what happened, whenever you read anything of that pre-war period, there's an optimism, there's a boldness to the club, there's a desire to, and almost a sense of this is where we should belong in the top flight, alongside the big boys of the game of the day. And I think the war kind of almost bombed that spirit out of us. We became a small club after the war, rather than the big club that we were potentially looking at becoming prior to 1939, for many reasons. Obviously, economics also played its part in the decline of the docks, but it was a very different club, let's put it that way, in the post-war period, and we would never really trouble the upper reaches of the second tier again until 71-72, which was the first season, as I've said many times on the show, but it's my show, so I'll say what I like. The first season I started going. Heartbreak in the final game as the Lions believed they were promoted, only for Birmingham to overhaul them midweek in Leighton Orient. I mean, we touched on this season a few times, so I don't particularly want to go too deeply into it, Neil. But there was. I think the difference between then and now, I'm going to put this to you, is that then it felt like we'd reached the pinnacle of a mountain, not quite making it, and then we were kind of coming down a long slope downwards again. Whereas this season now, I mean, there's every chance that we can look to build and make another attempt at the big time. There's a sense the club has ambition and is looking forward to build for tomorrow, which I don't think was quite so back then, in quite the same numbers. Would you agree with that? Was that being unfair on the board of the day back in 72?
I'd agree with that. But you look at that season, and there were 4 draws, in fact, in March. That cost us. Then towards the end of the season, we lost at Birmingham, and then we lost at Burnley, didn't we? And
we did 2-0.
To fall 2 points short when it was only 2 for a win back then, wasn't it? So
yeah.
If we'd have turned a couple of those in, it was just that was, of course, the season that Harry Cripps broke the club appearance record. And it would have been great for the likes of him to have played in the top flight, and the likes of Brian King, who, if you ever, Kitch, if you ever speak to Brian King, he firmly lays the blame at Eamon Dunphy's door for that near miss.
Dunphy's a man of some strong opinions, listeners. If you've ever come across his work, he's actually all over the internet scene. He's a podcaster and a controversialist, I think. Let's say that about him. But
but no, it was I don't know what it would have been like to have supported the club back then, because obviously I was about 3 at the time, 3 or 4. So
football was different. It wouldn't have been as you see now. I mean, the last couple of days I've been seeing all these the Arsenal parade of the Premier League and no European Cup, but just the Premier League. Only Arsenal can take away the taste of winning the Premier League in this way as well. There's a sense of slight downbeatness to them. But anyway,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The Scousers winning anything is never a pleasant thing, because they harp on about it for.
Well, this is what you get because it's all over social media, which didn't exist in those far off days. So
exactly.
Different world now, Neil.
But Benny Fenton had built a team. Fenton had built a hell of a team. That team would be right up there with our best ever teams.
Yeah, I mean, I picked out a player here. We don't often mention Dougie Alder, actually, and there's a few players that you just don't mention that often. There's always the big names, but Dougie was not one that gets mentioned terribly often. So I've picked out a 2-0 win at Charlton for us. Of course, Mill put 1 foot in the first division.
Same old. 2 points down at the Valley.
Steve Curry in the Daily Express. Mill put 1 foot in the first division last night when they overcame their own nervousness to defeat struggling neighbours Charlton. Goals, I think, from Doug Alder. I've picked out Doug's bio from your book, actually, Neil. Midfielder, 227 games between 1969 and 1975, 13 goals. Good player, skillful player, a bit of an artist on the wing.
We might have a little bit of controversy. Richard Lindsay's book, because I've been too busy today, dear listeners, so I've not done that much research. So I've actually got Richard Lindsay's book next to me. He actually gives the goal scorers as Gordon Bolland and Derek Posse.
Does he? Let's have a look. Let's read the report then, because I've read this, listeners. But back by a large
Do we have a little bit of controversy? Do we
maybe
have
that was
some
it.
controversy in Millwall history,
tell-
or was Nick
I
just
I've
totally
scanned
dropped
red.
the ball?
I'm like AI. You can't trust what I say. Let's have a look here. Here we
Nick
are.
AI.
No, you're right, Neil. Bolland 75 and Posse 90+4. So Dougie's name was mentioned, and I think I'd taken that to be a goal scorer. Doug's 2 assists. Forgive me, listeners. He sets up the Lions double. 2 assists, as we would put it in the modern.
But a great player in Millwall history. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really,
absolutely.
really underrated player.
A youth international. I didn't know that, Neil. Played for England youth. Discovered by youth team boss Charlie Vaughan when he went to watch a game on a park pitch looking for a goalkeeper. This is a different world, isn't it? When you can go to a local park and spot a player with potential. I suppose it's
if it's in my book, it must be true.
Well, I'm reading from your book. I'm going to fall foul twice. Chat GPT heart here. He'd left the D in following relegation, Division 3. Yeah, he went to Orient, didn't he? That's right. In exchange for Barry Fairbrother and Terry Brisley, 2 good players there, actually. I love these little details. He settled in Hersham, had a spell coaching whilst working as a shop fitter before becoming a security guard at Heathrow Airport. That was the fate of the professional footballer back in the day, wasn't it? You got a regular job, working at Heathrow.
And he told me that himself.
Yeah,
I believe when I was researching stuff years ago. But yeah, no, a regular job, normal job.
Yeah, shop fitting and then the security at the airport. You can't imagine it nowadays, but it's one of the more
we can't
endearing.
imagine. We can't imagine Casper de Nor pitching up in 15 years' time as a security guard at Heathrow Airport, or Brussels Midi, or somewhere like that. Yeah, it's just a different world. It's a better world. It's when footballers, when they finish their careers,
they were
they're such wonderful people. Yeah,
they were relatable to the blokes on the terraces. I mean, I don't want to overdo the romantic nature of looking backwards, but there is a truth to this, Neil. And also, they'd be in the pub. They'd have a beer with the fans. They were people, weren't they? That you would expect to know them,
mate.
And
but they would.
I still think we've got a touch of that. I think our players now are still reasonably human. I don't know what the better way to put it is, but of course now you can't. We shouldn't be found in pubs. Maybe 1 or 2 might be.
Well, one certainly is, if you believe Hoff.
We won't say which one or which pub, but anyway, we'll move swiftly on.
But that's why these players. Yeah, but that's why these players are so interesting to talk to. You spend any time with the likes of Brian King, they're full of stories, and they're great stories.
Yeah.
Brian King told me about this season how he had a concussion, and Benny dragged him out of a bloody Cardiff hospital somewhere to go and play in a game. You just wouldn't get things like that happening now, would you? Can you imagine?
No, the remedies for concussion back then was Jack Blackman with that little pouch of, I don't know what the pouch was,
water,
balls
water and a sponge.
That was concussion.
And the sponge over the head. Give him a quick shot of smelling salts, and away you go, son.
Oh dear!
Yeah, no wonder they've all got dementia.
Yeah, well, that's a sad truth as well. But anyway, we'll keep the mood up on this show, listeners. So anyway, there it is. That would be the next time we would come remotely close to promotion. It would be a heartbreaking season. I remember it well. I remember the scenes at the Preston 2-0 win. And then I was too young to really appreciate the heartbreaking nature of it, but I could certainly get the sense of the gloom. And the season coming back after that was a strange affair, as I remember.
Yeah, but the IRA bomb warning at Leyton Orient, or alleged IRA bomb warning, trying to get the game called off. And what a day, in the words of Harvey Price. Yeah, what a brilliant.
There we are.
Achtung, Millwall.
We're going to move along to the next time we came close, and there's a bit more of our own doing here, because we would get into the playoffs in the 1990-91 season. Not quite our last season at Cold Blow Lane, but it was getting close to the end of the grand old stadium. But we were not long relegated. It was a season after relegation, Neil, wasn't it? We came down 89-90. And we were looking to bounce straight back, and we would qualify for the playoffs thanks to an incredible 38 goals in all competitions by, for me, the one and only Teddy Sheringham. But looking at the results that season, we really let it automatic slip away from us with the one. I mean, Port Vale, Notts County, Sheffield Wednesday, and then the playoff losses. But we let points slip there, and there was one win away to Bristol at the end of the season, and that was vital points gone begging. Could have been so much different, but we got into the playoffs against Brighton, and that was a shambles, wasn't it? Those two playoff games.
Yeah, I think that when you lose the first leg 4-1,
after leading,
really, isn't it?
Paul Stevenson
after leading, yeah.
And then they describe it as a period of madness. And this is the Brighton Evening Gazette.
The Argus.
The Argus. It was a 10-minute period. They fight their way back from a goal down, then proceed to tear Millwall apart piece by piece, as they put it, and barring total disaster at the Den on Wednesday, their incredible promotion drive will be heading for the Twin Towers. They were missing players: Barry Lloyd, John Byrne, Gary Nelson, Brian Wade, all missing. So their makeshift.
Barry Lloyd was actually the manager.
Oh, was he? Oh, Barry Lloyd. Sorry, excuse me. John Byrne, Gary Nelson, Brian Wade. Leaving one small. I think Robert Codner was the thorn in our side. 15 devastating second half minutes, as they put it here. Put one foot in the final. Brighton 4-1. We would lose the return leg at the Den 2-1, and it was it was a bit of a gut punch, wasn't it? After a season where we expected so much and such an immense goal scoring haul from Teddy there, Neil. This was Bruce Rioch's management, if memory serves, was it? It wasn't McCarthy yet.
It was Bruce Rioch's management, and yet another missed chance, which is a recurring theme, which included a 1-1 draw at Hull. Oh, that mob are determined.
Some names haunt us.
Yeah, they do. But I think what made that season worse was the Vermin went up, didn't they, in second place? Yeah. I think behind that great Oldham team, that really, really good Joe Royal Oldham team, didn't they get to the FA Cup semi-finals?
That was their heyday. They were
around
Premier
then,
League.
and the League Cup final, and
yeah, they had a real season of glory, and they were Premier League formation members. Different times, as we say, back then. But no, that was
this was just as football was changing.
Football
was starting to change. The money was starting to come into the game.
The near miss sense, Neil, isn't it? When we've mentioned war, we've mentioned all sorts of things, but this is when the Premier League was starting to become the beer moth that you've got nowadays, and we missed out on that. Not that it did Oldham much good. I mean, they had good times then, but then they've fallen through the cracks since. Same as Swindon have. They were also up there, if memory serves, and obviously the old Wimbledon Football Club. So it's not all happy clappy, but
this was Sheringham's best season. Sheringham's best season.
Well, I think so, because
the one with Cascarino.
You can. I mean, obviously the glory lies in 87, 88, but I mean the fact he stuck around us when we were relegated, I think, is to his eternal credit. And he was trying his 38 goals. I mean, this is an incredible total. What would we give for a striker that gets 38 goals across all comps nowadays? How much would he be worth? I've noted myself, I doubt we'll ever see a performance like it again. I don't think we will. I don't think it's modern goal scoring isn't on that scale in my experience, probably what I see around there. So for me, it was his greatest season, that's for sure, because but for him, we probably wouldn't got even into the playoffs. It was his contribution that almost Maradona style hauled the team forwards there, Neil. I know it's a hyperbole, but that's as I see it anyway.
Yeah. No, I think that now if a club of Millwall size had a striker like Teddy Sheringham at the start of a season, and he was banging in the goals in the first half of the season, we probably wouldn't be able to keep hold of him.
No, the money
past
will
the
come
January transfer window, because the money would be stupid.
We're talking, these are figures you see on the net, listeners. So, if Femi Aziz is being spoken in the 25 to 30 million pound bracket, how much would 38 goal scoring and proven at the top level Teddy Sheringham be worth in modern times? But there we are.
You'd have to be worth 50, 55, 60 million, considering that there are far less players going for a lot more. And here he was scoring 38 goals in a season in the second division, which now, but as you quite rightly point out, is pretty much unheard of, isn't it?
Absolutely. So there we are. That was a near miss. We missed out on the Premier League riches, and we would miss out again just a couple of seasons later, Neil, 1993-94, this time under the management of Mick McCarthy, though still probably largely a squad built up by Bruce Rioch. But McCarthy managed us to the playoffs, where we lose out to Derby County over 2 games there. This was it was the first season at the New Den, as it was called then. Still, sometimes you see it. I kind of hate that type of the New Den. Well, you do see it on TV sometimes, but it was literally the New Den at the time. It was a very inauspicious start there, wasn't it? That season, we lost 4-1 on TV to Southend United, as I remember it. And there was this thing that we weren't settling into the new ground. We began the season with a win at Stoke, then 3 straight losses: Southend, Wolves, and Leicester. So it wasn't apparent that it was going to be a playoff season or a successful season back then. But we would haul ourselves through the campaign via some terrific results. I mean, the one that I've picked out here is Crystal Palace Mill 3, Palace 0 on New Year's Day. That was the game for me, Neil, where I felt like the new ground was ours. Suddenly, finally, it was the first big dramatic game that it struck me that at the new ground.
I think it takes people time to settle in, doesn't it?
It does.
And everything has that new smell about it, and it just doesn't feel to be your own, does it?
No.
Everybody's moaning, "Oh, I wish we were back at the Den," and they call it the new Den. And
yeah,
but it was new, but it wasn't the Den, was it?
Wasn't the Den, no. But I think that game I picked it out just because it's one of those landmark matches that stick in my head whenever I think back. 3-0 win over Palace, New Year's Day, Goodman 51, Villa, Etienne on 59, and the Alex Ray penalty in front of 16,700. We've certainly improved on the crowds since then, that's for sure. But that was a big, big moment, and we would finish in let's have a look at the table. We'd finish in 3rd place with 74 points,
behind Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, there we are. Big opportunity. Top scorer for the season that year was Alex Ray. 13 goals. Yep. He's just below Warren Patmore. Warren Patmore, 13 goals. I don't remember that. It was Alex Ray, kids. Alex Ray got 13 goals.
I think that Warren Patmore only played 1 game, didn't he?
Yes,
1 or 2 games, if that.
It was this Excel sheet that Gary's got on the Mill history. I misread it. Famous misreadings. Warren Patmore, 13 goals. No, he didn't. So yeah, we'd finished 3rd. We're some distance behind, in fairness to.
We were
Forest.
miles behind. We were a long way.
So
we were a long way 3rd, weren't we? We weren't
quite
even
comparable
close.
with this year, was it? I mean, this year was a much closer run thing than that.
The Nigels winning it, but at least we had bragging rights. At least we finished.
Then,
at least we least we wiped the floor with them to start New Year, which is always a good way. I can remember that season quite well because I covered a lot of games. I was doing matches for the Mirror at the time and covered a lot of games because they discovered who I supported, and you were sent there virtually every week, so I wasn't complaining.
No.
It was just a John Goodman, a striker that doesn't get another player that doesn't get the plaudits I think he deserves because he was a really good finisher.
Came from Bromley, didn't he? But this is Bromley back in the old days, not the Bromley that's now being so successful. And also, we had even a striker like Jamie Morley, who would contribute big goals. On the, he was not as prolific, but he would get goals when you needed them. So it was an interesting season, that's for sure. But to come so close and then foul up the playoffs again, a 2-0 loss at Derby, and then a 3-1 home loss amidst mayhem at the Den.
Greg Berry scored in that game. He was another decent player when he was at Orient and a nice guy.
Pat Vanden Hauwe scored, Neil. Pat Vanden Hauwe scored, only it was in our own net. That was the problem. But he did get on the score sheet.
Mate, I can always remember that game for the fact that I think every time Derby scored, there was a pitch invasion and their goalkeeper got attacked. It was a former coal miner, it was hardy stuff. And
I was over in the what we now call the Dockers stand, the lower Dockers stand. I don't know why I went over there. I had my brother with me. He don't go very often, and he had a mate over there who was mixed up with what you might call the chaps. Let's call them the chaps, listeners out there. You'll know who I'm talking about, the chaps, the boys, And all this bloke kept doing, there was something slightly psychotic about this guy, and I never met him before nor since, but he kept going, here come all the thugs, here come all the thugs, here they'll come. Oh, fucking hell.
Be careful, Nick, otherwise he'll come up the block one next season. Shit corner.
That's the only thing I can remember about this bloke. I only met him the once. Here come the thugs, here come the thugs. Oh dear, oh Jesus, it was a very Millwall finish to the season there. There we go. But another 2-1 win over Charlton. I picked that one out for you just to cheer you all up, listeners out there. En route to the playoffs, we would beat Charlton at home 2-1. Daily Star report. Millwall grabbed a sensational win with the last kick of the game, Neil, to beat South London rivals 2-1, Charlton 2-1. Alex Ray blasted home to grab the points despite some first half heroics from Charlton keeper John Vaughan. He was on top form to stop blistering shots. I think they were leading at one point. Took the lead when Gary Nelson, who wrote a famous book like mentioned Dunphy. Gary Nelson wrote a similar book, I think.
Family friend of mine, actually.
Is he? Yeah.
Family friend of my uncle's.
On the journeyman league footballer type of idea,
My left foot or my left foot or something like that. It's called. Very, very interesting 2 books if anybody wants to go out and buy them and read them. Along with Dunphy's book. Dunphy's book is well worth a read as well.
I think I've said before on the show. Only a game. I read it. I went and bought it from the strange little souvenir shop that we used to have on New Cross Road. It's an old church, Methodist church, converted into a pub souvenir shop. Only Millwall can do these things. And I went and bought it, and I was only about 14, but it was an adult book, Neil, I think. It's probably the way I'd put it now, because it's introspective and it's analysing the motives of, footballers. And I think all I was looking for was more kind of shoot magazine type content. I have read it since. I've read it since, in latter years, and it's very good. I recommend it. So yeah, Alex Ray put Charlton to the sword on the 16th of March 94 from the Daily Star there, listeners.
There's not enough put into the sword these days, I think.
Well, I'm looking at you. You're the journalists. This is where we probably have editors saying that's a cliche or some nonsense like that. But I love expressions like being put to the sword.
Oh, mate, it is. There was a couple that came up last week, and I can't remember what they were now. Babbling, I think, was one of them.
Well, another one I remember reading. When I was used to do the fanzine, and before the age of the internet, the South London Press used to have an archive at Streatham on Streatham High Road, I think it was. I managed to wangle my way in there by making friends with the Mill journalists, and I got to sit down and read through all the match reports for 87, 88. I've still got them written out actually on my laptop. And one of the expressions was that the manager, post victory, the manager John Docherty would be beaming, BEAMING. Or I love that goal with John Docherty beamed. The word "beam" was a regular go-to word. He beamed.
Yeah, it wasn't something to knock yourself out on. It was,
this is the kind of life I lead, listeners. So yeah, anyway, putting to the sword, 2-1.
Yeah, was anybody listening at this point, or have we lost everybody?
I don't know. If you're here, you're here by choice now. We're going to move along. We've got 52 minutes. I want to bring this to a conclusion before 60 minutes comes up, Neil. So we're going to move along to 2001-2. Post-match riot is what there was more to the season than the post-match riot versus Birmingham. This was another near miss, of course. We would finish in 4th position in the table. Manchester City being promoted with West Brom, and then Wolves, Millwall, Birmingham, and Norwich would fight it out in the playoffs. Another season where we had some results that we let games get away from us that would have made crucial points and took us up automatically, but it wasn't to be, Neil. This was the Steve Claridge season, wasn't it? What a player, Steve Claridge. I think he was an underrated striker. Don't you agree?
Yeah, he was. He was the journeyman, wasn't he? The player that had been around everywhere but scored goals.
Well, I think
I can remember him pitching up, and he used to do things like sleep in his car in the.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's the eccentricity of his behaviour that I think detracts from his ability as a footballer, because it's easy to laugh at him because he does turn up with a load of potatoes in the back of his car, or he'll be parked outside the bookmakers because he had a gambling issue. All of these things that are now meat and drink to the podcast scene out there kind of detract from his abilities. He was a great footballer, and he scored big goals, and he scored everywhere he went. He scored big time goals, Neil, and I think that I've seen him described as the poor man's Kenny Dalglish, and that's got a slightly derogatory quality to it. But if you ever saw Kenny Dalglish, you'd say, to be put in the same sentence, is a tribute. And he really performed for us this season. He's 36, or 35, that was his shirt number. So 35 years old, and he got 18 goals across all comps in this season where we'd finished 4th, alongside, of course, Richard Sadlier up front. So it was a great season.
That was the great season. That was a great season, if you remember, where Harris scored that wonder goal at Watford on New Year's Day.
He was making his comeback from illness, wasn't he? We'd been promoted the season before with Neil Harris as our, the new Teddy Sheringham. Did he get 30 goals? I can't remember. I haven't checked the numbers, but he had a huge goal-scoring tally in. That's another word you don't use in other than footballing circumstances. Neil, tally. He had a huge tally from the League One Championship season, and then he was ill with fighting testicular cancer. So we had to come up with an alternative strike force, which we did in bucket loads with Claridge and Sadlier up front.
It was. Yeah, well, we did, and we had Cahill, Reed.
Yeah,
this was Denzel in goal.
Yeah.
God, I think if we'd have had a couple of those, we'd definitely have got over the line.
Dion Dublin coming in as the experienced man up front at the end of the season. So, it was littered with Paul Ifill. I mean, these are names that trip off the tongue, aren't they? Wonderful season that always comes back to the Birmingham game and the events afterwards. I mean, I don't intend to dwell on that. We've already had the thugs coming in at 93-94. So this is not that kind of show, listeners. You can find that elsewhere across the internet, not on this one. But it was a crushing.
No, that was a season. Yeah, but that was a season where I think I said before, if we'd have sign somebody of Dublin's ilk a little bit earlier, because there was no two ways about it. From February onwards, we found goal scoring difficult.
Yeah.
And we needed a bit of experience a little bit earlier.
A bit of nous,
up front.
Say. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it would have been different. And that Birmingham night, it was just galling.
Yeah.
Stern John scoring that goal, because I think if we'd have got in the playoffs with Dublin, because he made hell of a difference. Well, he made a hell of a difference to us.
He's a good player, very good player. And the experience, I think, was the quality that, and you've touched on that. We missed out. There we are. In the last minute, thanks to Stern John, and that's become a cliche, isn't it? So there we go. That was the 2001. So that's taken us. How long ago? That's 25 years ago since we were last in that position. And again, we've mentioned various moments across our history where these blows actually set us back, and I think that the Birmingham match set us back. We would finish in League One. We'd had some successful seasons and there's some good times, but it's taken us this long to climb back to a position where we can start to think ahead a little bit, which is where I want to leave the season we've just finished, actually, to 25-26. Because as we said at the start of the programme, we've missed out. We've come third, but we've got every opportunity now to build a squad. We probably have to make some moves in the transfer market. We all know the names we're talking about, probably going for proper money this time, which we didn't really exploit in the past. But there's every chance we can build on it. And we've got a manager in Alex Neil who looks to have enough about him to be able to put together a squad that's capable of maintaining the charge again next season. So I think there is a difference between this one and the 7 that we've mentioned, Neil, in this particular show.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've said it many times, haven't we? Everything at Millwall is gearing up for being ready. We're making great strides on and off the pitch. Off the pitch, we look. There are some areas, I suppose, where we could make a difference. But certainly the match day experience is a lot better than it's been for years.
Absolutely.
And we've got a board and a management structure off the pitch. I'm not talking about Alex Neil, but we've got a structure in place and we've got a wonderful manager. And I think a manager who knows how to get teams out of this division and get them out of the division the right way. And
absolutely.
If we can, I think we're going to lose a couple of players, but I've got full faith in this mob. There's Steve Gallen, Alex Neil, and people like that to actually get us the right players that we need. And I think it will be a decent season next season. That's why I bought a season ticket.
And didn't try and get your money back.
I'm not going to miss out. Mate, I'm not going to miss out. I'm not going to miss out when we get promotion at the end of next season.
That's a fantastic way to leave this show. Neil, I want to say a huge thank you. We've moved through 7 seasons and lots of tangents, as we love to go down. And we've just gone on the hour, so I'm going to call it quits there. Big thank you, Neil Fissler. Nice to have you back on the show, mate. Thanks for talking to us.
Really? Yeah, mate. My absolute pleasure. Yeah, well, I hope that we haven't turned off too many listeners in the course of the last hour.
Thank you for you listeners if you're still with us. Till the next show, from me and Neil, it's Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
When I was a little boy, I asked my mother, what will I be?
Who do you want to watch?
Will I be Spurs? Here's what she said to